All systems go. Clear for liftoff. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, a.k.a. ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition of the Thursday Night Football Showdown show here on the Ship It Nation YouTube station. Make sure to tap that thumbs up on the way in. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to break down all things for the Thursday Night Football. Rams at the Seahawks. And maybe a little Puka versus JSN. This should be a fun one, though. Going to talk about captains, roster construction, ownership. Puka saying the refs are rigging the NFL. The weather is a big factor as well. And then, of course, we've got the Ship It Games winners. This will be the final automatic entries to round one of the first ever Ship It Games finals. We'll have those at the end of the show. And then if you guys haven't checked this out, go on X at Ship It Nation. Day 6 of the 12 days of Shipmas as that rolls on. A lot of fun. Today's just a single emoji. In the Discord trying to tell me you can't put a rocket ship. That can be any day, any holiday, anything. That is my holiday emoji. So Hoopster, bring you in, man. Got title with me, as always, with you. What's going on, Hoop? I'll bring you in first.
Yeah, it's a great opening, but you forgot to mention something very important. Tonight starts the Super Bowl for my season-long league in which I have Puka and JSN, who have carried me all the way to the end. So made it to the Super Bowl. That starts tonight. So that is very important in Hoopster's household. The Puka JSN combo pack tonight to kick off championship weekend. So I'm pumped for that. Can't wait.
From best ball bro to season bro, like this guy is into everything. You know, how's the bank account? You must have Mrs. Hoop must be spending a lot on Christmas. Hoop's going broke over here. He can't play anymore.
Yes, I'm trying to refurbish some funds here, see if I can recoup some of these funds. But yeah, no, it's a good game, a very important game, obviously for playoff seeding too. I mean, whoever wins this game is kind of in the driver's seat, I think, for the 1 seed in the first round bye. Close spread. No Devontae Adams is pretty big. I think the spread kind of shifted in favor of the Rams to slightly in favor of the Seahawks now, or favored by 1.5, depending on where you look. And good game for DFS, I would say. There is one, I don't know how big the factor is. We can talk about it, but it sounds like the weather is going to be a lot of wind. It's going to be very, very windy, but we can kind of discuss that too, because I think it is important. And, you know, maybe when we get to the kicker conversation, it's even more important, but total really isn't budged. And we always talk about it on these shows, on the Sunday morning show, like when we get these weather situations, like how much has the total shifted when we get the weather? And I think when you guys mentioned before the show, it's only like 1 point. So it really hasn't factored in all that much, but yeah, we'll see. Good game, good start to week. What is it? 16? Yeah,
week 16. We've got Kevin's younger brother, Zach Roth, over here, ready to bust down the news for us. Title, what's happening, man? How you doing?
Good. I mean, what a Thursday! Yeah, what a Thursday night game we have, real life wise. I don't know. It could be, like you said, looking at the total, looking at the weather, 42.5. It could be pretty ugly, pretty defensive. But what I love for Showdown is both teams have 2 running backs that are very much in play, and just that alone makes like ownership spread out, and just the fact that it could easily be solo shipped or a lot less dupes, because it's hard to pinpoint which running back it's going to be. No Devontae Adams adds a little interesting wide receiver stuff for the Rams. Sad for my best ball though. Yeah, week 16 best ball is there. I had a sick Devontae team. Hopefully can get it by, but good luck if you're still alive. Good luck if you're still alive in Survivor. And hey, if you're not alive in anything, you got DFS and a lot of money up top today.
How live am I in the revival? If I tell you what I got, title, I got Houston this week. Then I got New England versus the Jets next week. And then I got Buffalo versus the Jets in the final week.
You got the nut.
That's the nut right now, but there's still 90 teams is the problem. It's
probably going to be chopped, but still chops.
Like probably by 90 teams, because I got to.
You'll take chops.
That left, but still like it's $5 or $6 grand. We'll take it. I just thought if I could get like one upset, I thought we could get some last week, but we didn't get it. So. You said one key important thing there. I know that there's going to be a ton of talk about Puka and JSN and people who want to talk about Puka's brother in the news and all this stuff, but just in general, it is crazy. Williams versus Corum and Walker the third versus Charbonnet. Like there's a ton of angles. Then you got the tight ends. they're running 3 tight end sets with the Rams. I mean, Hoop, I'll go to you and you can kick off sort of the grand scheme overview, but you talk all the time. We literally just had the conversation on the last slate of who's actually the wide receiver 2. And when Devonta Adams is out, I know there's Tutu Atwell coming back, and he's even got a 2 in his name, a couple of them, but we don't know, because Parkinson, they were trying to hit Ferguson. They had Davis Allen. He's a blocker, but he was still out there. They got a lot of stuff going on with their pass catchers. So give us the grand scheme overview. I know you hit on the weather a little bit earlier, but just how you sort of see this playing game out. Like Title said, huge implications from a real life football standpoint as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about it obviously when we get to the pass catchers, but the wide receiver 2 for the Rams is not a wide receiver. I can guarantee you that much. I don't know who it is, but it's definitely not an actual wide receiver. We will talk through it when we get there. But grand scheme overview, I think people probably in terms of fantasy wise view these quarterbacks pretty similarly. In terms of what they expect tonight, their projections are pretty close. Obviously, I think if this was on a neutral field without any weather, it would definitely favor Matthew Stafford, but it's in Seattle. It is, some weather potentially here, so it kind of neutralizes those quarterbacks a little bit. Running backs, very interesting, where you have both teams have 2 guys that they're willing to use quite a bit and even come close to like splitting the carries. Like at the end of the day, for me, like when I look at these running backs, I wouldn't be shocked at any 4 being the top scoring running back on the slate. There's not one of these guys where I'd be like, well, if he's the highest scoring running back, I'd be surprised. Like I can't say that about any of these guys. I think it's wide open and kind of adding on to what Title said, it makes it interesting for DFS because you have a lot of different ways to go, and it's an important position, the running backs. I mean, who's getting those 1-yard carries from the goal line? Like who's the guy that gets that? Very important to figure out tonight, but you have 4 options, and that's interesting. No Devonta Adams is the big talk with the wide receiver position. Much clearer on the Seattle side. JSN, Shaheed, Cooper Kupp, and you really don't need to worry about anyone else. Barner's the main guy in terms of the tight end. So it's like those 4, and it's very clear. But the Rams stuff pretty wide open after Puka. In terms of the wide receivers, like it's Puka, and then they're going to mix in, I think Atwell's good, boom bust sort of play. You got this Mumfield guy, Xavier Smith, Whittingham. I think they're all going to get some reps. And we always kind of talk about with those guys, and we'll go deeper into it, but like Matthew Stafford captain teams are probably a little more appealing with all these pass catchers. So we'll talk about that. And then the tight end stuff, Kobe Parkinson is in the conversation to be wide receiver 2 for the Rams, and Stafford likes him. He's used him a lot. But I watched that entire game. Rams-Lions, obviously, last week. And when Devonta Adams went out, the guy that was out there almost every snap was this Terrence Ferguson guy, and they're using him in very high leverage situations. I think Ferguson is, and he does have a good projection. He's going to have ownership. I think he is elite tonight. I think he is a very, very good play at 1,600, which we'll get into. Watch that game. He was in there, and he wasn't just in the game. He was in there in high leverage situations. Didn't show up much in the box score, game log sort of thing, but man, like I think he could have a big game tonight. And then with the wind, what you do at kicker is important. So we'll talk through it all, but that's kind of the overview.
Yeah, I love that. And the Ferguson, I was definitely watching that game too. That was part of the Millie sweat, was with Puka and having the guys on the Detroit side, and the Ferguson could have had a touchdown. It just didn't get there with it. And then you ended up seeing it go to somebody else. So it's like he actually could have done a lot more. I will say, Title, I think when we get there, we could see his ownership come up by the time lock hits too, just because he's actually cheaper than Davis Allen on this slate on DraftKings. They flip on FanDuel, but just noting it like right now. And Davis Allen has a bigger prop than I expected to see too, almost 17 yards receiving and typically a blocker. But what's happened is with all these other randoms, with Atwell just coming back last week and then Mumfield and these other ones, it's like they kind of just went to a ton of personnel where they're getting multiple tight ends out there. And so that's the common theme, at least. And obviously Parkinson has a big boy number as well, only 5,400 in the flex on DraftKings. But give us your thoughts on the game, and then you can sort of take us right into your captain thoughts as well.
Yeah, like you guys are saying, I mean, the Rams have played 13 personnel, 3 tight ends more than like anything. Davis Allen played 75% of snaps, Ferguson 78, Parkinson 85. Like you're going to see these guys on the field a ton together, which makes it a little tricky. The thing that's also interesting you mentioned at the end was Tutu Atwell. Like that was his first game back after week 7, I believe it was. So they're working him back in. Now no Devontae. That's kind of hard to project. Like, is it going to be him? Is it going to be Whittington? Is it going to be Mumfield? There's a lot of unknowns, but unknowns is good in Showdown when we're talking that. We know Tutu, a speedster, big play upside there. They're going to play a lot of tight ends. Totally agree with you on the Ferguson ownership and stuff coming up. I think we nailed it on the show with the Gainwell Warren. Gainwell was 55%, 11% captain. I mean, with the reporting and stuff, obviously he got there. Definitely expect Ferguson's ownership to come up. Also, last thing for the rushing attempts prop, I don't, like Hoop said, he wouldn't be surprised if any of the 4 were the highest. 13.5 Kyron. Again, rushing attempts, this is 13.5 Kyron, 12.5 Kenneth Walker, 9.5 Charbonnet, 9.5 Corum. That is pretty wild to see that all of them are that close. And again, that makes the slate really good. Charbonnet actually outsnapped Kenneth Walker last week. So it's very tricky. Heading into the captain thoughts. Oh, I'll also say last thing, no one's favored to score a touchdown in this game. Again, 42.5 total. The weather's a little concerned, orange, yellow. We could see a little lower scoring game. So like to go to my captains, obviously I'm playing JSN and Puka. There's no ifs, ands, buts. They're by far the best. They will be the highest owned. Nothing bad to say about Puka. They're both just the man. I would say Puka if I had to pick. No Devontae helps a little bit. Yeah, Puka's the man. But after that, Kobe Parkinson, I think, is my next favorite. They're using him a ton. I think he's the number 2 pass catcher. And his price tag, $5,400 in the flex, $8,100 captain, is just way too cheap at the end of the day. So I like Kobe Parkinson quite a bit there. After those 3, though, I'm struggling. Darnold, I don't know. I guess I'll probably play a little bit. I do like Darnold more than Stafford, I think, today, for the sense of it. Like, I'm expecting if it's Stafford, it's going to be either Parkinson or Puka mainly. Sure, he can throw one to Davis Allen, one to this, one to that. But I think Darnold's actually more likely to spread it out today. And then I think the other captain that I'm going to play a little bit is Shaheed. They've been using him a lot more as of late. Big play upside. He's fast. The classic double dip. Someone asked about it last week on the main slate. You can do it on Showdown if you want. Shaheed and Seahawks defense. But yeah, he's on the field a ton. He has big play upside. He's the number 2 weapon for Darnold. Yeah, I wish I had stronger conviction, though, at captains. It's really, yeah, like the chalk in JSN and Puka. I think Parkinson, Shaheed, maybe Darnold. I'm struggling with these running backs. Obviously, I'll mix them in a lot of teams, but yeah, you can't be comfortable with any of them, I don't think, when you put them up there.
Yeah, the revenge game stuff people are talking about and things like that too. But I think the Shaheed call, because people talk about Cooper Kupp, but the Rashid Shaheed stuff, because you can play him up top and he actually has a real ceiling. He's not going to show up as much on the paper. Like if you see him, it's like a 36.5 prop for him, but it's more of what that big play upside would be for someone like him. And you mentioned him being out there a bunch. I definitely think that's something you see. Guys like Barner and Kupp and those guys could just be a little bit more capped. They get you like 15 points. Is that enough? I don't know. And that's what you got to think about. Of course, they can help flip the build with the cheaper price tags. But Hoop, I'll kick it over to you. The stuff that was mentioned, a couple other things is like Tutu Atwell is seen as the guy, but Mumfield has a way better touchdown prop. He's got a higher yardage prop. It's like just random stuff like that. He's $1,400 cheaper, and in the captain, he's $3K. I'm not saying to captain, I'm just noting when you see it. And then of course with Corum versus Williams, to me, that just tells, again, it's not who you play, it's how you play them, but you can leave $5,000 on this slate because you could build your best Williams lineup and just plug in Corum, who can beat him. And it's like, yeah, you'd have money to upgrade elsewhere. You can make your lineup better, but not always how it works. And on these showdown slates, that's a huge edge if you can find certain things like that. So I'll kick it to you, Hoop. Give us your thoughts at the captain as a whole.
Yeah, I am going to be definitely pretty condensed, consolidated at the captain spot, and it's mostly the guys that Title already talked about. Like I have like five guys tagged kind of right now: Puka, JSN, obviously, Parkinson, and I did have Shaheed in there as well. I think Shaheed is like my fifth, and then Matthew Stafford. For me, it's Stafford over Sam Darnold. I mean, when Darnold has these big games, it's usually just through JSN and really nobody else. A majority of them, I guess, it could happen where he gets there without JSN getting there. But I think if he has a big game, it's likely it's JSN or Shaheed. I could see Stafford potentially spreading it out a little bit. Like if they put in the effort to kind of slow down Puka, which it probably doesn't matter. You probably can't slow him down. He just has so many different guys you can throw the damn football to today, I could see him having 3 or 4 touchdowns, and they all go to somebody different. So I do like Stafford for that reason. You can get pretty unique with the Stafford captain teams too. A lot of different things to do. I'm not really interested in those running backs up top. I like them individually. I like them actually a lot in the flex. But in order, to me, for one of those guys to be the captain, I think they probably need 2 touchdowns just because of the workload. So any of those guys you're looking at running back, if they're going to get up top, I think they need to double dong on the slate, and that's kind of hard to predict. So don't love them up top. It's really the 5. It's Puka, JSN, Stafford, Parkinson, and Shaheed, and I don't think I really want to do anything else. I mean, maybe there's something you can talk me into, but for me, really, it's those 5, and then kind of looking to get different within lineup builds. I mean, and some of the stuff you don't even really need to get different with. I mean, Parkinson's going to be very popular in the flex, but not a lot of people are going to play him up top. I mean, we're showing 5%. Sabre has it at 7. If you play him at 10, you're way over the field. And then Shaheed is a 2 to 3% up top sort of play. So you are getting a little bit. I mean, the majority of this ownership for sure at captain is going to 2 guys, Puka and JSN. If you're doing anything different than that, if you're doing anything outside of that, you have a chance to kind of be a little bit different tonight. So you really don't need to worry about it too much in my eyes. I think this, slate is definitely going to be one in the flex and not up top.
Yeah. So one thing you said that was key for me is the double dong perspective. I know we usually talk about that in the baseball streets, but from the running backs here, that's what can really restrict them from being up top. Right. That's what we're talking about right here is the captain and building down from there. Playing any of them in your lineup is possible tonight. There's a ton of different ways. Every JSN is 5,000 more than Shaheed. Kyron is 5,000 more than Blake Corum. So that's just a 2v2 flip in your lineup. In talking in the flex. Now, up top, you got to make that conversation be had. And I think for me, I have a little, if I was going to any of those, and it's only because the classic hoop line, if you've been playing them, just keep playing them. I have more faith in Kenneth Walker of any of them. And it's not high faith. I'm just saying if it's going to be one of them, I do think that would be the way that would take away from it. But it's Puka, JSN. It's the tight ends, Parkinson and Barner. It's Shaheed. And then for me, it's more both quarterbacks because we've actually seen Sam Darnold this season already be the winning captain up top when the game that he threw it to Arroyo, who's no longer there, and Torrey Horton, who's no longer, he can spread it around for sure. The thing about that though is more of how the game plays out. If it could be where it's lower scoring, even if JSN has 5 or let's say he has 7 for 110 and 1, there's a way that Darnold still beats him up there because he gets that plus whatever else he throws to the others. It's not as likely, but that's shown in the ownership. That's where it's already built into this. So I'm going to spread it out a little bit more. I'll probably be underweight on Puka and or JSN slightly, just if they're actually going to be 25% each. That's 50% of the lineups. I want the situation Hoop just mentioned. I want the 10% Parkinson if he's 5. I want the 8% Barner if he's 4. I'd rather get some of those, and then I'll still have, whatever it ends up, 18 to 20% of those other guys, and built differently, built accordingly, trying to win all the money with those guys up top. But they're the best captains for a reason. Makes a ton of sense. Title, anything else at the captains from anything mentioned there? I think both quarterbacks to me can spread it around. The running backs, Kenneth Walker, just because I've been playing him, I prefer those guys mixing them around in flex. I love the Shaheed call you had, JSN, Puka, and then it's more Parkinson than Barner, but maybe a little Barner. That's kind of where I stand as of right now, at least.
Yeah, I think if I'm getting outside of the main guys that I talked about, I'd probably just sprinkle in the running backs and hoping Charbonnet falls in the box twice, or Kyron or Kenneth Walker. Again, when we play a lot of teams, most people probably play 20 teams or less. We try and condense it. But I think after I get by with after Parkinson, Puka, JSN, that I don't even know if I prefer running backs or quarterbacks. Probably quarterbacks, but I'm thinking this is going to be a low-scoring division battle, and this is a big-time game for both in bad weather at the 12th man. I think it's going to be a little lower scoring. No Devontae Adams. Also a thing to note, now that I'm thinking about it and talking out loud, maybe I like Kyron the most up top for the sense of you don't have that Devontae Adams 1 yard, 5 yard line touchdown, or he can just get robbed on the touchdown with how much they've been going to Devontae. So maybe, that price is big for Kyron too, which is going to keep the ownership down. But I'm struggling at captain. It's one of the games I feel least good about. like I like Puka, I like JSN, but I have the same thoughts as the field. So, but I think we can get different in the flex because of how many different options there are where you can still eat chalk at captain if you want to do so.
That's what you're going to have to do tonight. Like, again, people, if you're building one lineup, I know everyone's going to just be picking between Puka and JSN. Nobody has the answer for you. They can tell you what they prefer, what they think, but nobody knows until it actually plays out. I don't hate that thought on Williams up top, I guess. Like, I didn't consider, obviously could be
That's
good.
a good point too. I was going to say that I do think that is a pretty important point. I mean, you look at Kyron Williams and the expectations coming into the season, and a lot of it has been held in check because of all these 1 and 2 yard passes to Devontae Adams. Nobody that's filling in for Devontae Adams tonight can replace that sort of role at the goal line. So those plays are not going to be in the playbook tonight. Like, there's no doubt about that. So I do think that is a good point in Kyron and something we should consider.
Also, another piece I would just add on to that is Adams not on the slate. If Adams was on the slate, he would basically be the same price as what Williams is at. So it's like you're substituting what he would take from him for workload. And if it feels like an overpay, just say that it's already baked into it, because you would have played Adams. Tons of people would have been trying to leverage Puka and playing the goal line 2 touchdown guy potential with Adams for those exact same prices, with the rest of the board being the exact same way. Well, if he's out and Williams can already be that guy anyway, it does make a ton of sense that you just sub him in because he's actually not playing, as people know. So yeah, I like that call quite a bit. I just don't care about any of this stuff ever. Like, it's legit one game tonight. All these places trying to tell you that they tell you a snow game's going to have no points. Then it's like the Snowmageddon with 75 points. They tell you all these different things. It's 50-50. No one knows. I'm just going to play. And if it deters you from other stuff, I guarantee you've been talked off stuff way more than you've been talked into stuff. And I know that because I've been playing DFS for 10 plus years now. I'm sure Hoop and Title are much of the same. It's like, oh, Hawkinson's going to only play the high value snaps tonight. Well, it turns out there was 10 high value snaps in the first half alone, and he's got 10 catches at the half. And you're like, oh, well, I missed that one. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't worry about
I think it goes back to we kind of touched on it a little bit, but they're like, this isn't like 20 years ago. These teams are doing things to negate the impact of these weather situations, heated fields, shoveling the fields in between down, building these stadiums to make the wind less impactful. Like, all this stuff has been going on for the last 20 years. I'd say, I don't know, I'm just throwing a random number out there, but like years ago, there was no stopping these sort of weather situations. You were just getting the full brunt of it. And there's no stopping. Like, a lot of teams play in domes now, so they don't have to deal with the weather stuff. And there's just a lot of different things. And it was like, 3 weeks ago where there are those 5 games that were going to be like really bad weather situations. And we use the same weather report every week. We're not shy about who we use, and we always cite it. But that breakdown had those 5 games as really bad weather, yellow, orange, yellow, whatever you want to say. And I think they averaged, what was it, like 55 points a game.
Lots of fantasy points out there.
One of the games touched 70, I think, total points scored. It was the Cleveland, Tennessee week where, that was like a 33 total. They scored a shit ton. So I think we definitely need to be careful. Like, if we're talking kickers, like, maybe it's a little bit of a different conversation. Like, kickers in DFS tonight, when we get there, maybe it's a little bit of a different conversation. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm a little wary on making big wholesale changes, based on this weather stuff.
This too. Shout out to Nades here. Said, we'll get him on Sunday with the ticker, but this one says second half looks good. Anyways, actually, we'll get him later. We got Chip of Games winners coming up. But the second half looks good. Anyways, how many times we see these guys smashing ahead? Look, Jacoby Brissett can get there every game in one quarter, the fourth in catch-up mode. So it's like, if you guys give these guys 4 quarters, there's adjustments that are made. There's all these different factors. I already know what's going to happen. The first half's going to be slow. The distance, I guess the weather did matter, like coming back to try and dunk. We've seen this happen. So, I guess Justin Herbert was a horrible call. And then he breaks the slate on a Sunday one week this year, earlier in the year. It's like, you got to just give them time sometimes, but it's, in general, we can only build with the information we have. If you think the weather affects the quarterbacks, probably shouldn't put quarterbacks in your lineup.
And the other thing, it's like a different style in the NFL too. I mean, think back to like, I don't know, Randy Moss days. Like, you're throwing Randy Moss like 30, 40-yard bombs down the field. Like, these top high volume players, it's not really that anymore. Like, is a 8-yard slant to Puka, is the wind going to affect that? Like, if they miss a tackle and he goes for 50 yards, like, Can the wind affect that sort of play? Like, no, I don't think so. So I think you factor everything in together, and it's just negated more than it was in the past. But like you said, if this is a 3-0 at halftime and one 26-yard field goal and that's it, like people are going to come, oh, you guys said that the weather, they're going to score a shit ton.
Think about it. Like McVay gets to the stadium title and he's like, you know what, guys, we should definitely throw Puka the ball today. We know he's good, but man, that wind out there. Hey, Matt, come over here. The Stafford quarterback. Yeah, let's not throw Puka the ball today. It's a little too windy out there. Let's just run that thing, man. Forget the game plan. We'll just go to this instead. So I'll kick it to you and take us into the next positions. Any other thoughts you have? But I mean, for me, I'm playing the field and what they're doing and playing against it. That's what I'm going to continue to do for the least amount of dupes to win the most amount of money. That's the game. That's what's different about our shows versus others, trying to take all these hot takes and stands and all that shit. No one knows it. We just know how to play the game, and that's what you got to play. Play the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was literally just there's so much randomness in one game, and someone can be like, all right, then why are you doing a show about it? Well, at the end of the day, everyone has the same deck of cards. Everyone's playing the same. You see what the field's doing. You try and leverage off of it and their mistakes, and yeah, that's the game we're playing. So some of my portfolio will have the passing attacks. Some will have the running. But in your lineups, little tweaks here and there, a pivot, a 1v1, a 2v2, 150 dupes down to 7. When you win, how much do you win? The little stuff like that. I think we do a good job. You always talk about salary, 2v2 switcheroos, all that. So, yeah, I mean, do I think it's going to be someone throwing for 300 yards today? No. The props are saying no as well. But if they do, guess what? You have a 4% owned quarterback at captain. You get different that way, and it leverages stuff. So,
well, hey, just 2 seconds. Great point you just made, because that's the other factor. Just like we always talk about with like the game totals, not always like a team could put up 17 points, but if one guy gets 2 touchdowns, that's still valuable in a 17-point team total that they finished with. To your point, Stafford could throw for 170 today, which is way under. But he could have 3 touchdowns because whatever the wind made for some pass interference got him to the goal line, and then he throws to Allen, Parkinson, and Ferguson. And the actual lineup you need is Stafford, Puka, the 3 tight ends, and whatever it lands on the other side. Like, just making shit up. But I'm saying, like, that's the other thing people aren't factoring in enough is like the wind could blow the ball down, and it doesn't mean he gets the 300-yard bonus. It could get passer interference or things that set him up to throw these short touchdowns. So it's again, that's the game, the fantasy sports side of it and the point side of it versus the actual numbers and the yardage and all that stuff. Exact. Like, that's how it'll play out in the end. So go ahead.
Can you give me the quick cliff notes of what Puka said? Just because I guess he issued an apology.
Well, it wasn't what he said. He went on a stream with Aiden Ross and Neon. I think his name's Neon or something with a 3 in it. But anyway, he went on and they were telling him to do a touchdown celebration, which was actually like anti-Semitic. Like it's you can't be doing that basically. And he apologized to the entire Jewish community because of it. But he was saying, I'm going to do it. He was practicing it on stream, and then people called his ass out, and he realized that he was getting set up. So, I mean, obviously these guys are rich and athletes and can do whatever they want, but like going out and being on these streams and shit when you're playing this week for number 1 seed, like I don't think the best of the best are doing that. He is one of the best receivers, but you can't be doing that. Just don't.
Okay. I didn't. No, I see it. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, for the running back room, the thing that stands out most is Kyron, like 9.8K, Darnold 9.4, 400 cheaper, Stafford 600 more than JSN Puka, but Kyron's projection is by far the worst out of them, like almost 3 points worse than the next lowest in like the Stafford Darnold stuff. So he has to be squeezed up top or like in the flex and up top pretty much. And when you play him, you can leverage chalk Puka, you can leverage some Stafford that's going to get ownership. So I think I'm going to embrace that. Like, I wouldn't be shocked. We have 26% Kyron, 48 or 18% Corum. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 22 a piece or 23 a piece, just because the owners or the price 9,800 versus 4,800, and people have been seeing what Corum's doing. So I think Kyron is a good way to get different up top or in the flex or up top. And then Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. Kenneth Walker, I know he's burned a lot of people. There's no doubt about that, but it's only a 1K difference from them, and at least our projection, we're showing like a 3.5 projection difference on with Walker ahead. So maybe Charbonnet comes in a little lower owned that way as well. And I think I'm just gonna embrace that. If I think Kyron's moonwalks back a little bit, and it's pretty close with him and Corum, and I think Charbonnet is a decent bit lower owned than Kenneth, I'll just say right now I prefer Kyron and Charbonnet. And again, it's really I don't have a strong lean. The rushing attempts are similar. The rushing props are pretty similar. I don't know what the coaches are doing, but if I think right now that the projected ownership across the industry is a little off, I'm going to embrace that and just go the other way. But I'd be lying if it's this guy's day to day. I have no clue. What I will say is I do like all 4 of them a good bit in the flex, though, and I definitely do prefer them in the flex than captain. I can play 2 of them. I'll let you guys discuss, like, are you willing to play 3 of these guys?
Yeah, Hoop, I'll let you take that thought over to you. Are you willing to play 3 of these guys together? And then any thoughts just around how you might be utilizing them? Like, I like the thought the title had earlier. I know it's for captain, but even in the flex, I'm like, okay, if I'm going with Williams, it's probably because he's taking the lunch of somebody else, or maybe it's Walker or Charbonnet more in like a blowout type lineup. Is there any thoughts you have on using 3 or more together and how you're handling it? And then anything else with these running backs?
I think I would be fine with 3 just because, like, you look at it and they're all I mean, outside of Kyron Williams, he's probably got to do more than 1 touchdown, but the other 3 guys, it's like 1 touchdown probably is enough for them to be on the optimal. So I do think it is a little trickier if it includes Kyron, just because he's going to have to outscore the quarterbacks. He's going to have to outscore, everyone else probably in that top. You're not outscore, but be in the range of those guys. So I wouldn't rule it out. But the one thing that definitely stands out to me now, and that's why I love doing these shows, is now I got that like Devontae Adams thing stuck in my head, him at the 1 and 2 yard line getting those plays. And I definitely I'm going to boost up Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. I already like Corum quite a bit just because he has a legit, I mean, you're talking about a guy that can get, 10 to 15 touches and he gets entire drives. So I already like Corum. I was not as high on Williams because of the price tag, but definitely think there's something there. I mean, there's certain plays that they are no longer going to call at the 1, 2, 3 yard line without Devontae Adams. And that probably leads them to run it a little more at the goal line. So, if I'm going to rank these, again, like I said, though, at the beginning, like I wouldn't be shocked if any of these guys were on optimal at the end of the slate. Like there's not one of them. If I'm going to rank them, it's going to be Corum, then Kyron, then Kenneth Walker, then Charbonnet. And I guess the Kenneth Walker thing is, it's like I've just kind of always played him over Charbonnet, so I'm going to continue to do so tonight. But I think the main point here is my initial point where wouldn't be surprised if any of these guys got the job done tonight. And it goes opposite of what I usually do with these teams with multiple running backs. Don't really like the backup running backs, but these guys have legitimate roles, all 4 of them. So I'm in, and the range of outcomes here, though, I think is very, very wide amongst these 4 guys.
I definitely would not be ruling out playing 3 of them together. So if you're doing that, I think it's a huge mistake. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. The reason I think it's a huge mistake is because especially because in that case, it's more than likely one of them is that captain. So let me give you just a quick example. You put our guy, Williams, who we just talked about and title brought up, is all those points we put together. You put him at captain, that hurts Puka, that hurts Stafford. It's what if he's the touchdown and then Corum gets one later on? Well, if Stafford's already hurt and Puka's already hurt, it's not likely that Corum beats them out, but it's very possible that now Corum is beating out a Parkinson or somebody else down low. And then what if Walker or Charbonnet is one of the guys from the other side that's needed, that's scoring the touchdown, even in a 5-1 build? That could be the case if somehow they failed. I also think it's really interesting. We're talking about running back as a whole, but just to go back to the captain conversation is, if Williams is actually breaking it, like that, it's got to hurt Puka somehow. It doesn't always. And so I'm not saying to rule that out either. I'm just saying if he's getting 2 touchdowns, the double dong, it's hurting the ceiling of Puka. Puka can definitely still grab you 8 balls for 110 and be needed in the flex. But looking at some of those builds with like Williams up top, maybe subbing JSN in to that build and say, if he's going to hurt Puka in this one, maybe I go to JSN, or vice versa with Walker up top. If Walker's actually doing something for once, that could be stealing away from JSN. And maybe they don't need to pass as much and they're running more. So maybe it is like a Kenneth Walker with Williams doing the only scoring for the Rams on their side. And then Charbonnet comes in late and does his thing. Like, so you can get to 3 running backs pretty easily in that setup. So I definitely wouldn't rule that out. Not too much else to add. That's kind of how I'm thinking about playing them as well. Just even in the flex and stuff, it's kind of like built into the lineup of what would make the most sense from a game script perspective. So, like I said, if Walker's crushing it, then maybe that's hurting JSN some, or likewise with Williams. But price matters. If going back to the captain conversation for 2 seconds, it's 10-8 or 9,300 up top for Walker or Charbonnet versus 14-7 for Williams, and then going up to the big boy price tags of 17.4 and 18 for those receivers we're about to get to. So yeah, it's pretty tricky from that perspective, but I think there's definite reason to say there could be 3 running backs in a lineup tonight. So Title, I'll go back to you. Anything else you want to add there, man? If not, you could take us into the battle of the number ones, man. It seems personal between these two, JSN versus Puka. We got to see how it goes, but both teams, like it's clear far and away. And then obviously Adams getting out of the way tonight to make it realistic that it actually is just 1v1 Puka versus JSN. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, 91.5 receiving prop for Puka, 89.5 JSN. The next highest, Kobe Parkinson, 39.5. It says it all. Ownership shows it. Prices show it. What outstanding years for both. If I had to pick one, I mean, I'm definitely going Puka. The dude's a grown-ass man. After the catch, he's phenomenal. But you can't go wrong with either. After that, though, yeah, we kind of mentioned it at the top. Like, the guys down below, like, people would rather go the tight ends. Ferguson, maybe even Davis Allen. Of course, we talked about Parkinson. It's not quite as bad as that Steelers-Dolphins wide receiver game that we just talked about, where, I mean, we were right. There wasn't one wide receiver, I believe, that was found on the optimal lineup. After JSN and Puka, I mentioned Shaheed. I'm definitely playing Shaheed. I know Drea disagrees. She likes Cooper Kupp more. He'd be the next favorite after that if I had to go there. I mean, he just looks so dusty. Like, he has no juice left in him. I think he has to fall in the box to get there. Shaheed can actually make plays. They do design runs sometime for him, get the ball in space. And then after that, it's Tutu and Mumpfield. And I don't really know. I think maybe I prefer Tutu a little more because he's 1,400 more. So I do think that Mumpfield might be a little higher owned. But again, it was Tutu's first game back. He only played a couple snaps since like week 7. Who knows what role it's going to be. And they have used Whittington. They've used Xavier Smith. I don't know how much I'm really going to get to them. Again, if you're playing 150, you'd be a fool probably to exit out. If you're only playing 10 teams, I doubt I'd really get any. I want you guys' take, though, on Tutu Mumpfield. Again, last week, if you look at snap counts, it was clearly Mumpfield ahead. Tutu only played 4 snaps, Whittington 4 snaps. But yeah, that was – and they run so many 13 personnel. They'll have Allen Parkinson on the field a ton with Ferguson. Like, and these guys won't even see the field much. But when Tutu's on the field and when Mumpfield's on the field, I think Tutu has a better chance to actually do something because he can stretch the field more. So, yeah, what's your guys' take on the Mumpfield versus Tutu? And are you guys playing any of these Xavier Smiths and stuff?
Yeah, I think the big one for me, and I'll let Hoop take it, but just as the point you made, like what everyone's seeing right now is props and the snap count from last week on Mump. And they're saying, well, he's got to be the guy. But it's not necessarily the case, as we've talked about a ton of versions of these slates on the show, where it's like there was reasoning to Atwell. There's potential reasoning, at least, as to why he wasn't out there as much last week. But again, it all just blends together. But even when people say like the prop stuff, and we look at it a ton, probably more than most, and that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, you could take an under on Mump and an over on Atwell if you think it's flipping around. Or in DFS, you could say I'm going to pay the $1,400. And in this case, it looks like Atwell actually might be lower owned than Mumpfield because of that price savings. And, have that conversation around because Mumpfield is a similar price tag to Ferguson as well. So when we get to the tight end in a minute, so there's lots of thoughts to be had, but you can play them both together. There's tons of different ways to go about it, but I think they need a lot to get there that way. So probably a Stafford captain. So I don't know. I'll have both. I think it is interesting on Atwell because we've seen him be like a potential. So you need to have it sort of hit perfect for you with a guy like him, but no better spot for that than Showdown versus a main slate where it's like somebody still outdoes him easily. Here, it's not necessarily the case. Hoop, what do you got with the wide receivers? Both
before Hoop, what are the props I don't see a 2-2 prop receiving yards on DK. I only see Mumpfield. What do you have on both of them at your book?
Yeah, I got Atwell is 12.5 receiving.
Okay.
And Mump is 14.5 juice to the over. So it's going to be
14.5 DK I saw for Mumpfield, nothing on 2-2. The thing is that also why DK might not want to put 2-2 up is A, the unknowns with the snap count, and B, like one catch could be like 35 yards, which, so there's more. I don't know if they really want to put that out there and take the risk. Go ahead.
That's probably what it is. Yeah.
It's all a guess and a gamble. I mean, like nobody knows for sure. Even if you think you have the right read on who's going to be on the field more often than the other guy, they still need to get the ball thrown to him as well. So it's like you're guessing on who gets on the field, and then you're guessing on who gets potential targets as well. So it's like a two-way parlay just for your guy to get some attention on the field. It's a guess. It's a gamble. These guys are obviously better suited for 150 stuff, and I think better suited for Stafford captain teams like Tambo kind of touched on, and I touched on earlier as well. But it's like you can put them all into a hat. Mumford, Atwell, I think are maybe a little better than Smith and Whittington, but they've used this Whittington guy a lot in the past. So who the hell knows? I mean, it's just it's a guess, and they're all better suited for 150 for sure. I just don't know how you would say it's this guy over that guy and so on. The ones we do know, though, are obviously on the Seattle side, JSN, Shaheed, Cooper Kupp. We already kind of talked about it. There's nothing to really be said about Puka and JSN. I mean, they've been the two best wide receivers in the league this year, and that's why they're both on my season-long team. I saw it coming, return to season-long and straight to the top, and this team is strong too. So I advanced last week, so I don't want to keep bringing this up, but people might appreciate it. I advanced last week, and I had Kyle Pitts on my bench. Kyle Pitts on the bench last week. That goes to show you how strong the squad is. Brock Bowers is my primary tight end, had Pitts on the bench. So
what are you doing this week?
I think I got the flex. I think I'm going to play Bowers and Pitt. So here's the season-long question. Now that you brought it up, title. All right, here for the flex, I think I have to play Bowers as the tight end. So for the flex, here are the options, right?
Full point or half point?
Full point, PPR, full point. Okay. It's Pitts, Devonta Smith, or Tet McMillan.
I feel like it's got to be Smith.
You think so?
Smith or Tet. I don't know if I can go because Drake London.
London's coming back. Yeah, there it is. Thank you. I appreciate that, Tambo.
It's like Hoops calling in from the sidelines, like when we get the questions in chat.
Is he coming back? If London's not back,
if London's out, I'm playing Pitts.
Yeah,
just because of all the stuff. But if he's in, I'm probably leaning.
He's in. It's close.
Smith. I think it's probably Smith. Tet's banged up too. People are saying Smith. So I'll listen to the chat. I'll definitely take it into consideration. Sorry for the sidetrack, but I think people appreciate these conversations.
I think they're really
it's a good decision.
You winning hundreds of dollars on your league.
I hope I don't know what the payout is. I hope it's at least four figures. It was 200 to get in the league.
Oh, so it's four figures for sure. Then.
Yeah, so we might get like a 1,200 or something here.
11 or 1,200. I was gonna say, yeah, there you go. All right, nice.
But another thing, they pay out weekly highest score, and I think I've hit that like 7 times this year. These guys.
I like our guy BG Little Neck says you should try to win by leaving the really flex on them, legit flex. Leave it.
It would have worked last week. The final score last week was 142 to 86. So I won by 50. I won by 56 last week. So
wow.
Puka, great play. JSN, obviously great play. I like Shaheed. Fine with some Cooper Kupp, and then those Rams guys. It's just who the hell knows? Like if someone tells you they know it's this guy, don't believe them because nobody knows.
Yeah, but that's what I would say. Like, that's the whole point. So these guys that we're talking about, these guys, Mumfield, Xavier Smith, Whitting. I mean, do you even have a prop on Whittington or Xavier Smith over their title?
No.
Right. So
they think they're behind. Books think that they're behind Mumfield and Tutu.
Right. So these guys are built to make your JSN and Puka lineups more unique. And I mean, you're already in trouble if you get those guys wrong. Again, not likely that they're going to be wrong. They're the most optimal to be captain by a mile, and that's why their ownership is almost 50%, if not more, on this slate at captain. But I'm just saying that's what these guys are built for, depending on the risk you want to assume. I've done a ton of research on this and back testing and showing people. I mean, I know you guys play the same type of way. We're usually up there. It's going to be in a smaller chop. We're seeing it week after week and slate after slate. It's like at least there's opportunities, but the setup is around like the concept of just taking on the risk. I'd rather not win when the top prize is 13 grand. It's not because I don't want 13 grand. It's just if I'm going to build every slate to try and win 50K or more, then I'm going to have to play in a certain way. And that's just what these guys are there for. They're there to be differentiators and separators in your lineup to give you what you know. Much more risk that you're taking on, but with great risk comes great reward. And that just means if you do get to the top because of that, that's what I'm taking on. So you won't really see me up top in a chop very often if it's going to be like 13K or 8K or something. You just don't have that team. But a lot of hand builds and things will, because people just, hey, this is the best team. I'm just going to run it. So it's depending on what you're trying to do, but that's really what these guys are used for. So not a ton to add here, Hoop, but I'll let you go into tight end. You already talked about Parkinson. You talked about Ferguson for sure, how much you like him, and then Barner on the other side. Anybody else or anything else you want to mention here at tight end?
So I mean, another group of, cheap potential plays. We already talked about the main guys. I think Parkinson is a phenomenal play. I'm going to play him up top. I think Barner is a really good play. I guess you could maybe make the argument for him up top if you're looking to expand your captain pool. I think I prefer to keep it a little tighter up top, but I think Barner is a really good play. Talked about Ferguson, and again, he's going to get some ownership, and like you guys said, maybe it does get steamed up a little bit because he has the good projection. But I think there's enough cheap guys on the slate where it won't get to a point where you have to be concerned. And like I said, watching that entire game, and I know Tambo, you said you watched it too. Like it looked like he was the number one beneficiary of Devontae Adams getting hurt in that game. Like he was immediately out there. They were targeting him in high leverage situations. I think he's a phenomenal play on the slate, and he's had good connection with Stafford throughout the season. He's had some, I think, pretty big games. So I think Ferguson is a phenomenal play. And I'm not worried if it ticks up a little bit in terms of ownership. We're showing, where's that at? Ferguson, we're only showing 12. Saberson has it at 18. It is probably closer to the 18, I would say. And maybe it does come up a little bit more, but I'm not worried. I think he's a very, very good play on the slate. And then Davis Allen is the other one that has a pretty solid projection. But I don't know. Like I'm fine with it. I don't love it. I just really, really like Ferguson here. We're showing Davis Allen at 5%. Saber has it at like 11. So maybe it is closer to the, 8, 9, 10, 11 range on Allen. And they'll be in the pool for sure. And another guy like prefer him, Stafford captain sort of teams. But I think it's a strong position. Like you have Parkinson, Barner, both underpriced. And then I think Ferguson is the best value on the slate.
I want to ask Title this for a second and let him take tight end. But if Jordan Newens, our guy, says if going all in on one of these plays like Mumph, all these other dust balls, what's your max? All these other idiots, as Hoop would say. What's your max exposure on them? 10 to 15%? What's the most you're looking to get if keying in on one or two of them? So
let's see. I mean, if you do like him, 10% we have projected Mumfield, 25-ish. I think 2.5x the field, that'd be good. 7%, 19, 18. And again, I'm so random when it comes to this. I use min-max. I know we've talked about it a little bit. There's projection. There's that. It's a lot of feel for me. There's no rhyme or reason. If someone's 10%, I don't want 40. I don't want 36 unless I really like it. So I think if I get 25, that's good enough. But like Ferguson, who we talked about, we haven't projected at 12. If I think that's 18, then maybe I'm fine getting like 37. And that's a difference because I'm manually thinking that his ownership's higher. So it's really random when it comes to my thoughts there. But I always try and build a portfolio. We talk about it all the time. And what I think a good portfolio is most times I don't think 3x the field or 3.5x the field is really the optimal route unless I just really, really like the play. And I think it's a mistake, which the more years DFS has gone on, the more projections, ownership, all that, the more efficient it's got. So then I don't try and make those stands as much. I just try and build good lineups with a portfolio and do it that way.
Yeah, just add on. I love that call out, but I think that's the most important part of what you said is if you have a portfolio in playing a large field GPP, it is like the stock market. Like you're not betting a blue chip. You're not in cash games where you would be all in and all 150 would have the same guy. So I would not be all in on any of those guys. I would be getting a percentage and treating it as a portfolio of stocks where I'm covering some different stuff. It's all in my portfolio that can equal to growth, but I'm taking on some risk in some of those spots. And if you're going all in, that's like a blue chip. A large field GPP tonight is not a blue chip stock that you should be betting it all in on one guy. You have 150 lineups for a reason. If you're all in on the one guy and he's not the guy, but you'll look at yourself after and be like, damn, I got all these 1v1s. If I had just plugged them, any of those became this guy. And you don't know if they would have, but you have no chance that they would have if you're all in on one guy. So definitely do what Title said. For me, I definitely look at the ownership and make my decision based off of that. But if I have 8% of a 10% guy, and it's one that I don't love as much, but it's because I'm getting 18% on a guy that says 10 that might be 15. Like, that's how I'm looking at it. Now, I want the spread of the opportunities or options because that's how I'm looking at my full portfolio. And again, it gets shit on. Like, Hoop and I joke about it all the time. Oh, you guys just play everybody. Like, we're honest about what we do, and we try and give you guys like 3 buddies hanging out on the table, talking through the slate for tonight of angles of attack, ways to approach it, and hopefully give you some good ideas. It has worked out for many people that are members at Ship It Nation and many that are not, which is fine. We love that you come in and watch the shows and go put together your lineups based on our thoughts. But for me, I'm definitely treating it like a portfolio title. So I love your call out there, and that's just a few points to add on, but you can carry on with tight end.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like the best players in the world that I'm looking at are playing all these people too in a lot of teams. The smaller you play, you always say it, the more you should tighten your player pool. But you're doing a disservice to yourself taking on way too much risk, especially in a showdown. And like MMA, we talk when the player pool is condensed, second place sometimes is pennies. You can lose money in a 150 max, or if the first way chop is really big. So tight ends, I got really nothing more to add. I think it's a strong position. Parkinson, Barner, Davis, Allen, Ferguson. I like them all at ownership. Parkinson, Allen, Ferguson will be on the field a ton together. And yeah, it's been really good for AJ Barner. You could argue AJ Barner is actually Darnold's second favorite target. Props are really close. Shaheed 36.5, Cooper Kupp 32.5, Barner 30.5. So he's right there with the receivers. Yet his touchdown prop is a good bit better than the rest because he gets more looks in the red zone. So yeah, I think I could play 3 tight ends on my team and be good with it. Running back, tight ends, I love in the flex. I don't like the receivers there as much.
All right. I don't have too much else to add, to be honest, just reading some of the comments in the chat. But I think, like Hoop said with the Ferguson stuff, watching that game last week, I actually think his ownership will be updated for us and many others once we get closer. I don't think he's going to go crazy. I'm just saying I think the difference in the spread right now is a lot, especially if people are going to want to get to Puka and JSN. It's just going to lead to needing someone down there. And I don't know if it's going to be Mump for everyone. So I kind of think, like, as we have it right now, I think Mump is the guy at 10. Like we have him. I think we do see the steam come in a little bit on Ferguson. Not sure how people handle Davis Allen. It is interesting. The only thing about him that's interesting, why I know he'll fall into the pool some, just based on the projection and the setup there, is it's like you're paying up for probability, but you're not. Are you really paying up from 1,600 to 2,600 from your Ferguson love for Allen? Technically, yes, but I mean, in reality, it's not like it's going to hurt your lineup at all, especially when we've got these backup running back situations for 1,000 less on the Seahawks, 5,000 less on the Rams, et cetera, et cetera. So it can still get you to the Puka, JSNs, and those guys of the world. So not too much else for me there. Kickers and D's title, I'll stay with you on this one, and then we'll kick it over to Hoop to round it out. But any kickers, and Hoop, if you want to look ahead at the FanDuel stuff, you can as well. Get title to do this, and then we've got the Ship of Games announcements and go from there. But kickers and D's title.
Yeah, I mean, we have like all 4 pretty much the same ownership, and I'm really wondering if this was finally the slate that the defenses get more. Not only are they cheaper, 5,200 Myers, 5K Mevis, and then the Rams 4K, Seahawks 36. You get a price decrease. But the weather that people are talking about as well, yeah, I'm curious. I wouldn't be surprised if both defenses are higher than the kickers. I really am not sure what to think about it. I think I like all of them. Like, I know I like the defenses, and if I think the kickers can stay on check or moonwalk back a bit, it's a 42.5 total. The 2 solid defenses. These teams can stall, and these guys get, as long as it's not Younghoe Koo kicking the ball, these guys are professional kickers. Like
he got let go.
I know. I mean, 9 weeks or a couple of years too late, but yeah, like he stubbed his toe on a kick. I mean, I'll never play that guy again. But what do you guys think on the defenses? Do you think both are higher than the kickers due to their price decrease and the weather concerns, or do you just think people love kickers and they keep going?
I'm just gonna say quickly, the interesting part of it all, or the dynamic to me, is that Myers and Mevis are like Parkinson money, right? Or Cooper Kupp, or like just under Shaheed, versus for the defenses, I know it's 4 and 36. It's not like it's crazy, but I'm saying it's also, no one's like really like, oh, Tutu Atwell over the defense. So it's like that may just stay in check. But what I would wonder is, do people play less kicker than normal, to your original point of like the possibility, because of the AJ Barners and the Parkinsons of the world that they can get to and feel a little bit better about? I don't know. Hoop, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, people will factor in the weather stuff too with the kickers. Like I think people can. You just have no choice to play. Like you have to play the offenses, right? You have to play some pieces, even if you think this weather is just beyond terrible and it's going to impact the game. You still have to play some offensive pieces, so you have to get over it. The way people can really take their stand on the weather situation is to get off the kickers a little bit. And, honestly, it is probably more, in my eyes, more impactful to the kickers than the offense is moving the ball. So, I think this probably holds up pretty true where it's all, probably 16 to like 22 on all these guys. They're both kickers and both defenses. And it's lower than we've seen on kickers, but I do think the weather will bring it down a little bit.
Yeah, the chat is talking about like the name value too. It's not an Aubrey, right? Like when you get an Aubrey on the slate.
Yeah, this Memphis guy's legit though, and that's the thing. Like I'll definitely be over on the kickers, but I see the argument for getting off. Like if you are afraid of this weather, like that is to me the one spot where it can affect things, the kick. But what if the wind's behind the kicker's back and he's got a 60-yarder at half and he makes it by 15 yards? I mean, just never really know.
That is a great point. I mean, yeah, because it's the really strong winds. If they're going the right way with the wind, yeah, they're more likely to throw out a 50+ yarder. That's a good point.
And these guys are already making them with ease. So now we're talking.
Memphis is a big cat. He's got a
big boy, dude. That dude's a tank.
Nays loves this guy, man. Myers. He said Jetta, Bowers, Odunze. By the way, we got the news. Odunze and Luther Burden III both out on Saturday. Already got that news. We got a Saturday slate this week. We will have you covered for that as well. A little 2-gamer out there. Big Packers slate. So we have Nate in that chat too.
Yeah, that'll be a big time game.
Yeah. T. Higgins, Lad the Donkey, and many more have less than Myers fantasy points on the season. Yeah.
That's wild. Jets being in there. Justin Jaman. And I can't even, it's been awful a quarterback play, but you can't even blame him. Last game, he's dropping wide open touchdowns. Like, come on. He's looked terrible.
He's going to crush it. Did you see his price this week? He's the lowest he's been since 2020 on DraftKings.
Wow.
At $6,000.
Yeah,
and the matchup with McCarthy, like, you guys, that could be a spot this week, man. Get it rolling, a little back and forth. Minnesota Giants game.
Yeah, I mean, he dropped a wide open touchdown. McCarthy played well. Jets didn't last game.
What was your thoughts? Because you definitely saw it in his face. Did he think that it was a bad throw and then realized it was a good one and was like shit? Or did he finally throw me a ball that was catchable? Like, holy shit! Like,
I think it's going. That? Yeah, I think it's like that. There's no excuses. It couldn't have been any worse.
Boom, like, right, that's your job. You have one job.
He's almost surprised when the ball's on him now, and you can't play receiver like that.
That's what it felt like to me. I was almost like, holy shit, this guy can sing it in there. And it's like, I just didn't do my job. And he wanted to look like he wanted to say something, but he knew he couldn't because of that. So pretty wild. Komet said he will play. So we'll have an interesting Saturday slate with these Chicago injuries and stuff. But for now, Hoop, anything else you wanted to add? If not, let's look at some of the FanDuel differences because there definitely is some here tonight again.
Yeah, just looking at the differences on FanDuel, like JSN and Puka substantially more expensive than the quarterbacks, Darnold and Stafford. Kyron Williams, 10-4, Kenneth Walker, 9-6. Like the 9-6 for Walker, that's tough to absorb. Like he's got to do something pretty big. The AJ Barner at 5K is very appealing on FanDuel. Cooper Kupp at 5,600, I think, is a very appealing price tag. The one thing that stands out, they definitely have priced up these running backs, like kind of Kyron Williams 10-4, Walker 9-6, Blake Corum 7-2, Charbonnet 8-2. Those are big price tags for those guys. Go down to the value range. Our Ferguson guys 3,600. And then Davis Allen is substantially cheaper on FanDuel at 1,600. So he's like the cheapest of all the cheap guys. And, like Title said, he played a lot last week. So, it's kind of a few thoughts there on FanDuel.
Maybe I got to just bet this tonight, Title. I'm just looking at the Williams play. He's more expensive even on FanDuel too. It's like I love it. So this is the way my brain works, but you said earlier, it's not often you get a slate with this many options and things that we're talking about and nobody's a favorite to score a touchdown. It's just because it's so wild, which means all the opportunity, all the double odds are even bigger. So it's like plus 750 on Williams to score 2. Would Adams? I don't know what Adams would be. Maybe he would be that, but it's just my point.
Last week, I think it was like plus 500 or something. He was minus 185 to score last week, Adams, which is crazy.
Right.
Different game environment, of course, all that. But yeah.
Can he take the Adams stuff? Maybe they punish Puka a little bit too. They don't want to see what that celebration looks like for the backup one. They're like, no,
they never give it to him down there anyway. Like it's he's always between the 20s, and it's rarely him down there, which today could definitely change. But yeah, I think they pound the football. I think the touchdown props and it being that wide too, just it's a lower total. Like maybe they don't move the ball as efficiently as the Rams usually have and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of stuff goes into that.
Plus 750, plus 4,000 for 3 Williams. But I mean, just get one, put it like ladder it up or something. I don't know, however you want to do as your money. I'm just saying, like, I do think it's at least somewhat interesting because the more we talked about it, the more it made a little bit of sense. And like now I'm even thinking about it further from like the captain perspective, like thinking about what those builds can look like. And on paper, I don't know how they build out beyond my first 2 to 3 options that I'm thinking of how it would look like that if I was hand building one. But from just the perspective of the Adams factor, like you mentioned, there's certainly an opportunity for that. He could do nothing. It could be quorum. It could be whatever. All these different things can happen. I'm just saying this thought process is good. So love going through this stuff for that reason. Anything else there, Hoop, you wanted to run with?
No, good.
Your boy just got an update here. So this tells you Tet officially fully practices.
Okay. Now we got some options. We got a legit three options here that we got to figure out.
Myers game log, is it?
Is that legit?
No, there's no way.
I mean, I know last week he won it solely himself pretty much.
Dang, that is legit. 24, 14, 19, 13, 15, 15. Wow. 9 before that, 10, 10, 10, 5, 14. He hasn't had he had 1 5 fantasy point game, nothing less than 8 outside of that. That is crazy. Dang. All right, maybe we are on to something.
I mean, are we though? Like that's still pretty nuts. But man, that is crazy. Those are big boy scores.
Dang.
And, apologies for not being up on the kicker game log. It's like Hoop, you should have had that.
That's me. I dropped the ball on that one. I apologize.
Big time. That's your lane, man. Jeez, making the foot bad. Yeah,
wow,
I don't know if that changes anything for me. I'm just saying
I've never
crazy.
seen that though before because during these shows I always try to check it out. I've never seen that sort of game log from a kicker. That's a 6-game stretch, nothing under 13. So that's like 3 to 4 field goals per game.
No one else.
That's why he's beating all these guys.
The 5 and the 8 were 2 of their 3 losses on the season. It's like every other.
He's the key to victory. All right, now we're on to something. Myers is the key to victory for the Seahawks.
Yeah, there you go. We're adding even more kicker points over here. So yeah, all right. Well, cool. We got final announcements of the season when it comes to Ship It games. So we will have this for you guys in just a second, but this is the Golden Ship It number 48 winner, the head-to-head against Hoop. And I think Hoop, we can, it's been a wrap, but what is it? It's 13-2.
Yeah, the over smash. So you can go collect your winnings at the cage for sure.
Where's our man? Go collect. You got to be here somewhere.
Go collect. Yeah, a little shout out to Go Collect.
Boom. Go collect your 13-2. Yeah, on pace for 14-2. So yeah, it's been a rough season. Almost everyone loses to Hoop and head-to-heads. I mean, Nades week 1. You know how the season started. But now we're on week 16, and it's been a lot of fun. We will say, definitely appreciate everybody that came over and joined the games. We know a lot of people came from other sites that they were with before to come over and join our community and check it out. I think they've enjoyed themselves. We will have it's not games related necessarily, but we definitely have some big PGA DFS news just around the corner that we're going to save. We're going to savor the holidays, enjoy it a little bit, but we got some fun stuff upcoming for the PGA DFS season. And anybody that's with us should know we always take care of our own. So if you're planning on being around, stick around and we'll hit you up with the offers and that heading into the new year. But there's definitely going to be some fun stuff leading into the PGA DFS season. All right. The winner of Golden Ship It, number 48. And we got full Discord governments today. No, not real names on the top, but we got the Discord governments. So the winner is Jeff D. And I know the Discord name. I don't know. There's probably a lot of Jeff D's out there, but Y Guy 223. So awesome job. Congrats to you, Jeff D. going up against Hoop for 13-2 record. Try and take it down, but we will get a hold of you via email after this and tag you in the Discord. That's been the main thing. The last couple of weeks we haven't had people winning it with Discords, but this week we got it. So Y Guy 223, congrats to you. You are into the Ship It Games, which for those that don't know, $85,000 plus cash and prizes starts next week. Round 1 of the finals, the 50 that get in. The next winner I'm about to announce with the final Golden Shipper winner from this week will make up the 50. They will play down next week. They already have some guaranteed prizes that go with that, $300 cash on top of the fact a 1-month ultimate membership, which is $321 for Ship It Nation plus SaberSim. But, the main thing next week, the 50 will play down to top 10 scores, and then those 10 will play 2 weeks later in week 1 of the playoffs. Go ahead, Hoop. You're smiling over there. What do you got?
No, just saying we can just go ahead and put them on the shelf because Jeff is going to the DL.
Oh, okay. This guy got one-liners again. I think they might have got worse as the season went on, Title. What do you think? I thought he was getting better, but they might have went downhill.
Hey, the effort's there, though. There's no doubt. The wheels are spinning now.
Yeah, they're spinning a little bit. It wasn't too bad, was it? Put them on the DL.
E for effort, for sure. What do they say? Is that the one?
Yeah. That's not, that can't be the worst. Like I think I've had worse throughout the season.
And the chat immediately jumped in.
All right, baby. Yeah. All right, there we go.
Even Nate came at you.
Yeah,
Stick
that's
the
a true
head
statement.
now.
Yeah, that's true.
Your kids shake their heads at you when you speak, don't they, Hoop?
Some of the stuff. Yeah, they don't appreciate it. That's for sure.
It's bad. Yeah. Sorry. We put you on the spot.
That's awful. Okay.
Everyone's catching up, right? There's always like a few second delay, so it's not like they waited. It's some of them saw it live and then waited to feel comfortable. Like, oh, if the crowd's saying it, I'm gonna tell them the truth too. Others are like, damn, this is just bad. I gotta chime in. So yeah, thank you.
Dad. One of these dads will circle back and all right, that was decent. B for effort, not an A for effort. We'll give you a B or a C or something.
There's always like 1 out of every 100 that agree with you on the steak take.
Well, you always see it though on the food stuff, like strength in numbers. People wait to say, "Oh, everyone's talking." I'm going to pile on and say it was terrible, but then you see it starts reverting back, and people have my back. So someone's going to come in and say, there was something there, little something.
Newens knows it's family here. We always speak up. We will talk about it. All right,
I appreciate it.
Second last winner of a Golden Ship It. Like I said, it's been a season-long thing. We've done it week 1 through 16, so this has been an awesome time. A lot of fun with you guys. I know different pieces of feedback. We'll take it and move forward with it, but I thought it was a lot of fun, and like Hoop said from the very beginning, it's a free roll. You were already coming over. You're already getting the stone. You're getting SaberSim. Whatever your plan and packages, you're already getting everything for the most affordable, most valuable price out there, but this was just an add-on bonus on top. Again, I don't know too many sites. Actually, I know 0 giving away $85,000 in cash and prizes from their side of things, but we love to give back. We have a ton of fun doing it. So go on X at Ship It Nation, check out the 12 days of shipments for even more giveaways. But the winner of Golden Ship It number 49, and I should note the suspense, we'll leave it for a second. It is a 555 milli to wrap up the season. So we got one more shot at the big boy.
That's it.
So I would love for it to be something big. We've only hit like 3 or 4 min cashes on the season that kind of just paid for some of the buy-ins and stuff. But this is the winner. The winner of Golden Ship It number 49 is Michael J. M. Jacob 6480 is the Discord government. I got nothing.
Michael J. Michael Jordan. Like that's the first thing that popped in my head. So I'm thinking like winning, success, getting to the top. So I like it.
All right. I do like
good
that.
First name. I'm in.
And he doesn't even have to play against you. He just gets to go straight to the sheriffship.
Yeah.
So awesome job. Yeah. Congrats.
Is that how you spell your first name, Hoop?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way to spell Michael.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't know if I assumed it was Michael and not Mike, but
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, maybe I should have just said, "Is that your name, first name?"
Yeah.
Not is that how you spell it?
Michael.
Mikkel.
And yeah, Beetlebane got one. Everyone wants to be like Mike. You get that seat number 49. You punch the last available auto ticket. Now, remember, everybody check your emails. Make sure you're checking it out for the other Golden Shipper. It's only got about, I think, 78 or 89, somewhere in that range right now of the potential 199 that can get into it. So make sure to check this is the last week. Check inbox, spam, trash. It comes from info@shipitnation.com. And I don't think it can get more obvious in the subject line than Ship It Games Week 16 Golden Shipper. It's literally all in there for you. So make sure you check out your email to see if you're in that, and then you could win your way in to the final seat and final Golden Ship It for the Ship It games.
We're talking movies. Like Mike. Either of you guys seen Like Mike?
Bow Wow. Right?
I don't know. That might have went over my head, but
you don't know about Lil Bow Wow?
No.
No, man. I'm pretty sure he's the guy in the movie, man.
That was the actor, or that was the guy that played the kid?
Do you know who Master P is? You know who Master P is?
I don't know actors, any of that for shit.
I don't know nobody.
But I know a movie. I know Like Mike. I watched. That was another.
Yeah, we're making baby steps. We're making progress.
Yeah, that was a great movie. Like
what
Mike,
was
making progress.
Oh yeah, Lil Romeo is Master P's son. I was trying to look it up, and they had beef before him and Lil Bow Wow. This stuff's back in the day for Title. He doesn't know these guys. It's really old school, but yeah, that's an interesting movie.
That's every time, Little Neck. I literally don't know any actors. I just know you. Yeah, exactly. But hey, I knew a movie, so we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I do not know the actors at all. Like I know the main people, like the big name people, but like outside of that, I'm drawn dead.
Hoop doesn't even know the other sites in the industry barely today. We talk about the other people that we're working with, working against, all this. He's like, oh, who's that? Like he's no idea. So it's good. We stay focused over here. That's the key, right? We're dialed in. That's why Title is grinding EV left and right. He was on we had a team meeting yesterday, and Title's at the poker table. Love to see it. Just the grind never stops. Title, any other final thoughts from you, my friend, before we get out of here? Good game tonight.
Yeah, great real life game and a great DFS game. There's so many options in the flex. Like if you think it's a Puka or JSN day, yes, they'll be popular up top. You can play them. There's so many ways to get different, so many options of guys that will be on the field. We have some value. I think it's a great slate. I'm excited to watch a good real life football game, even if it's 10-7 and it's one of the, hey, we got two teams that are going to be fighting some of the favorites to win it all. So yeah, we don't get that very often on Thursday. Yeah,
it's going to be a good one. I'm certainly excited for it. Hoop, any final thoughts from you, my man, before we get out of here?
Yeah, good game to kick off week 16. Big prize pools, obviously, and then we got my season-long championship kicking off. So excited for that. So I'll give you guys an update on Sunday, let you know how things start there.
I got a season-long thing quick before we go. I got Williams, and I was thinking about putting him on the bench, but now that you guys got me all hyped up, I got CMC and somebody else, I forget, but it was like, he was kind of like right in that mix. But then I was like, is he really going to get these points tonight? But you got me all hyped up, Title, so I'm all in tonight.
Depends who your other one is. I mean, there's definitely some risk. We're talking DFS wise, like his salary's high, he's going to get squeezed, all that. But there's no.
So I got CMC, which I'm not taking out. I got Trevion Henderson versus Baltimore, playing him, and then I've got the choice of Judkins against Buffalo. Aaron Jones against the Giants, and then Williams tonight.
I think it's probably Williams. I mean, it's definitely hard to play Buckins right now, but Aaron Jones, is it full point or half point?
It's a half point. Silly stuff. Oh no, actually it's full point.
Full point? I don't know. I think I'd probably go Aaron Jones.
Yeah, leave Judkins on the bench.
Judkins,
that's the easy decision.
Judkins,
Titles boy remains on the bench for sure.
What about like these explosive backs against Buffalo that just all of a sudden just get open? But he's not that explosive because he doesn't have an O-line. No. So until
he can't really catch, they don't really throw to him. Yeah, it's definitely a decision. I don't know. Aaron Jones. I also like on stuff like that. You can get so tilted just looking at Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a Kyron 4. Or whatever it is.
What about this? You guys are the best at this type of stuff. The opponent has Puka. So do I steal his lunch with Williams and hope that that's how it goes? Or do I say if Puka actually does his job, it kills me because he gets the Puka, I lose on Williams, and I could have had a different option in there? What's the game theory? What's the
I would play Puka for sure. Or I would play Kyron for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough. I'd go Aaron Jones probably and wait, but
I'm still playing him too. I got 4 running backs.
Oh wow, you got to play
CMC. I got 2 flex and my other receiver. So I'm thinking about I have to pick two of
those 3.
Williams, Judkins, and Aaron Jones. But I think I'll go Jones and Kyron and just call it a day.
Keep Buckins on the bench.
All right, we'll do. Bet his props on the weekend if I get crushed tonight. We'll see. All right. Well, it was good. I really think this is a good one to break down. If you guys have any other questions, hit us up. info@shipitnation.com. If you want to join the nation, all the promos are out there. But it's at this point, you can go check out the Join the Nation page. You can get in for $9, $19. So just go check it out. If you want to get in the Discord, hang out. We'll meet you there. That's going to do it for this one, guys. For Title, for Hoop, and for myself, ToeTagginTambo, let's ship it.